The next global disaster may not come from an asteroid, a volcano, or a giant tsunami. Instead, it could begin with something much less dramatic, warmer than normal ocean water in the Pacific Ocean. Scientists are closely watching signs that a powerful El Niño could develop in 2026. Some researchers believe it may become one of the strongest El Niño events ever recorded. If that happens, the effects could be felt across nearly every continent on Earth. From droughts and crop failures to floods and powerful storms, El Niño has the ability to change weather patterns around the world. And history shows that when an extremely strong El Niño appears, the consequences can be enormous. So what exactly is El Niño? Why are scientists worried? And could the world be facing a difficult year ahead? Let's find out. A disaster hidden in the ocean. El Niño begins in the Pacific Ocean near the equator. During a normal year, strong trade winds push warm surface water westward toward Asia and Australia. At the same time, colder water rises near the western coast of North and South America. This balance helps shape weather patterns across the globe. But sometimes those trade winds weaken. When that happens, the warm water starts moving back toward the eastern Pacific. Large areas of the ocean become much warmer than normal. This warming changes air pressure, wind patterns, rainfall, and temperatures across the planet. And that's when El Niño is born. It may sound simple, but the effects are anything but simple. A change in ocean temperatures thousands of miles away can affect rainfall in India, hurricanes in the Atlantic, droughts in Africa, and winter weather in North America. In other words, El Niño can influence the weather of the entire world. The deadly El Niño of the 1870s. One reason scientists take El Niño so seriously is because of what happened nearly 150 years ago. Between 1876 and 1878, the world experienced one of the worst climate disasters in recorded history. Massive droughts spread across parts of Asia, Africa, and South America. Rivers shrank, crops failed, and food became scarce. The result was a terrible global famine. Historians estimate that tens of millions of people died during this crisis. Some estimates suggest as many as 60 million lives were lost. Today, researchers believe an extremely powerful El Niño may have played a major role in triggering those conditions. What makes this even more remarkable is that scientists figured this out without satellites, weather apps, or modern technology. Instead, they became climate detectives. How scientists studied the past. You might wonder how researchers can know what happened in the 1870s. The answer is hidden inside trees. Every year, trees grow a new ring. In wet years, those rings are thick because trees receive plenty of water. During dry years, the rings become thinner. By studying thousands of tree rings from around the world, scientists can reconstruct ancient weather patterns. Researchers discovered evidence of severe droughts occurring across multiple continents at the same time during the late 1870s. They also examined old rainfall records and historical ocean temperature measurements collected by sailors. When all the evidence was combined, it pointed toward the same conclusion. A very powerful El Niño had likely occurred. Scientists believe this event lasted around 16 to 18 months, much longer than many normal El Niño events. That extra time allowed drought conditions to continue season after season, making the disaster far worse. Why El Niño can become so dangerous? A drought alone does not automatically cause a catastrophe. However, when drought affects huge farming regions at the same time, food production can collapse. Crops need water. Without enough rainfall, harvests shrink, food prices rise, water supplies become limited, livestock suffer, entire communities can face serious shortages. When several countries experience these problems simultaneously, the impact can spread through global food markets. Today, our world is more advanced than it was in the 1870s. We have better transportation, weather forecasting, communication systems, and emergency planning, but we still depend heavily on stable weather. Farmers need predictable seasons. Cities need reliable water supplies. Power systems depend on rivers, reservoirs, and weather conditions. A major disruption can still create serious challenges. Why scientists are watching 2026 closely? Researchers have observed unusually warm ocean temperatures in recent years. Some parts of the Pacific Ocean have been heating up rapidly. If warming continues and atmospheric conditions align correctly, a strong El Niño could emerge during 2026. Scientists are not saying that another famine like the one in the 1870s is guaranteed. However, they are warning that a powerful El Niño could increase the risk of extreme weather events around the world. The concern is especially important because today's planet is already warmer than it was over a century ago. Higher global temperatures can intensify heat waves, droughts, and other climate-related events. That means a future super El Niño could potentially interact with an already stressed climate system. What could happen around the world? One of the most fascinating things about El Niño is how differently it affects various regions. Some places become wetter, others become much drier. Some experience warmer temperatures. Others see stronger storms. Let's look at some possible effects. North America. During strong El Niño years, northern parts of the United States, Western Canada, and Alaska often experience warmer winters. Snowfall can decrease in certain areas. Meanwhile, the southern United States frequently becomes wetter than normal. Heavy rain, flooding, and stronger winter storms may occur as the jet stream shifts southward. The Atlantic Ocean. El Niño often reduces hurricane activity in the Atlantic. Strong upper-level winds can disrupt developing tropical storms before they become major hurricanes. While that sounds like good news, the story changes elsewhere. The Pacific Ocean. Storm activity often increases across parts of the Pacific Ocean during strong El Niño events. This can create additional risks for islands and coastal regions. Areas such as Hawaii may experience greater exposure to tropical weather systems. India and Southeast Asia. One of the biggest concerns involves the monsoon season. Millions of farmers depend on monsoon rains to grow crops and maintain water supplies. El Niño can weaken these rains, increasing the risk of drought and agricultural losses. Africa. Parts of southeastern Africa often experience dry conditions during strong El Niño years. Water shortages and crop failures can become serious concerns if rainfall drops significantly. The Caribbean. Many Caribbean regions tend to become drier during El Niño events. This can increase pressure on water resources and farming operations. The climate system's giant seesaw. El Niño is only one side of a larger climate cycle known as ENSO, which stands for El Niño Southern Oscillation. The opposite phase is called La Niña. During La Niña, trade winds strengthen instead of weakening. More cold water rises from the deep ocean, cooling parts of the Pacific. La Niña and El Niño work like opposite ends of a giant seesaw. One brings warmer ocean temperatures, the other brings cooler temperatures. This cycle naturally repeats over time and has been influencing Earth's climate for thousands of years. Most El Niño events last around 9 to 12 months. La Niña events often last longer, sometimes continuing for several years. Not all El Niños are the same. Many people think every El Niño behaves exactly the same way. That's not true. Scientists have identified different types of El Niño events. The classic version is called the Eastern Pacific El Niño. In this case, the strongest warming occurs near the Eastern Pacific Ocean. Another type is called the Central Pacific El Niño, where the warmest water stays closer to the middle of the ocean. Because the warming occurs in different locations, the weather impacts can also vary. This is one reason predicting El Niño remains challenging. Even with modern technology, researchers still cannot perfectly forecast every effect. Are we better prepared today? The good news is that humanity is much better prepared than it was 150 years ago. Satellites monitor oceans around the clock. Weather agencies share forecasts worldwide. Governments can prepare emergency plans. Farmers have access to better information than ever before. These tools greatly reduce the risk of a disaster on the scale of the 1870s famine. However, preparation does not eliminate risk completely. Modern society depends on global supply chains. Food, fuel, and goods travel across continents every day. When extreme weather affects multiple regions at once, the effects can spread far beyond the original disaster area. That's why scientists continue monitoring the Pacific Ocean so carefully. If you found this video helpful and eye-opening, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss our next deep dive into the mysteries and changes shaping our world. See you in the next one.